It is the worst of the CBC for February 6, 2019, the show where I watch the CBC so you don't have to. Okay, the obvious is the coronavirus exists, so this is half the news coverage. Should we cover anything of value? Nope. Should we cover the potential lying of the Chinese government? Nope. Let's just focus on human interest stories and let's interview some Canadians and see if they're concerned about it, and then some Canadians on a cruise ship. So we're not learning anything. Right? It's amazing how the news can focus so much on one thing and not say anything about it. So I'm really hoping we solve the coronavirus sooner rather than later. Yes, human lives, but more my sanity. However, that's not going to be the worst covered story of the day. The worst covered story of the day is the Wet'suwet'en pipeline protests. Okay, now, what they did is they said, this protest, because the Supreme Court just took away the last major obstacle, ruled in favor of pipelines, not very useless environmental nonsense. So the pipeline should be going ahead. Now, the Wet'suwet'en are opposing it. And they said they are going to build a pipeline even though hereditary chiefs are saying no pipelines on their land. Now, there was a story that came out. We did something on it. The Rebel covered it. True North Media covered it. A bunch of different outlets have covered it. The Wet'suwet'en are not hereditary chiefs. All the actual chiefs and native bands in the area have approved of the pipeline. They've all approved. They all want jobs. They all want the money that comes from the pipeline. There are a lot of native communities that see what happens when they drive industry away, and then you get homelessness and joblessness and drug addiction and abuse. They don't want that. They want prosperity. They want to be one of the native communities where there's jobs and prosperity, and they live like us, right? So the CBC takes the Wet'suwet'en, who are not hereditary chiefs, who are a fake tribe, funded by George Soros. Look it up. They get money from the Tides Foundation. Okay, so you have a George Soros fake Indian tribe. They're calling these people hereditary chiefs, even though we know they're not. So they didn't actually say Wet'suwet'en. They said even the hereditary chiefs, and then showed a picture of the Wet'suwet'en, which are like there. So even if they didn't actually say it, they said it and then put pictures of them up there. So this might be their way out, but it's clearly manipulative and dishonest. And we're all freaking out about cultural appropriation, right? Cultural appropriation. It's terrible. It's racism. What happens when there's a sushi burrito? Who's being racist? The Japanese or the Mexicans? We don't know. It's just, if a white girl wears a Chinese dress to her prom, then social justice warriors flip out. You can't appropriate our culture. But apparently a lot of white people can just pretend to be Native Americans, say, oh yes, we're the indigenous and we're blocking this pipeline, and turn the Western Canada and everyone who relies on energy, everyone's going to go homeless and say, it's because of the natives. Well, it's just a bunch of white people LARPing around as natives. So, this is so blatantly dishonest. It's almost an outright lie. And it just shows that the left doesn't care about native people, doesn't care what they think. They just want to turn them into the sort of noble savage cartoon and just use them as a prop and a battering ram for their own ideology. And that's clearly what the Wet'suwet'en are. And so, yeah, RCMP, arrest them all. Arrest them all. I don't care. I don't care. They're not real Native Americans anyway. Yes, a few of them might be from random bands, but no. All the Native American bands in the area have approved the pipeline. Get on with it. For the sake of the indigenous population, let's get them jobs. Let's do what the indigenous people actually want us to do, not what the media is reporting that a few white people claiming to be Native Americans are doing. The biggest omission of the day is the fact that the CBC is not covering my Aaron O'Toole story. Yeah, they probably haven't seen it, but still gets to be the greatest mention because, as I reported last night, information has come out. Aaron O'Toole is connected to the Muslim Brotherhood through his campaign manager, Walid Suleiman. Walid Suleiman's brother is on the board of Islamic Relief Canada. Now, Islamic Relief Canada has been listed in Canadian Senate testimony as a Muslim Brotherhood front group. Two of our allies, Israel and the United Arab Emirates, have alleged that Islamic Relief Worldwide funds terrorism in the group Hamas. That's not good. Islamic Relief Canada clearly sends millions of dollars a year to Islamic Relief Worldwide. That's illegal. You cannot send money down a pathway you know will end up in the hands of terrorists. The founder of Islamic Relief Worldwide, Hani Albana, is also the founder of Islamic Relief Canada. We're not even sure if he's in there. Now, if you think Hani Albana, is that Hassan Albana? No. He claims to not be Hassan Albana's grandson. Hassan Albana founded the Muslim Brotherhood. Hani Albana is just from the same small Egyptian village as him, goes to the exact same mosque, and has the exact same values. Hani Albana, head of Islamic Relief Canada and Worldwide, has been on Hamas radio stations. Hamas is a listed terrorist group here. Not just me saying this, but Islamic Relief Canada and Islamic Relief Worldwide, UBS Bank in Switzerland, HSBC Bank in the UK do not do business with Islamic Relief Canada because of terrorism concerns. Bangladesh, a Muslim majority country, does not do business with Islamic Relief Worldwide, terrorism concerns. UK Children's Charity Aid took him off their list. Terrorism concerns. Financial Post Canada, I believe, took him off their charity list. Terrorism concerns. But Aaron O'Toole is such a blue Tory that he doesn't really care about terrorism. Now, we know this because there's a 2018 interview where Aaron O'Toole says he is aware of the problems of Islamic Relief Worldwide and he's working to fix it. And we also have another interview in 2020 where Aaron O'Toole says, yes, he met with Islamic Relief Canada, but he brought up the concerns of the UAE. So he knows they're a listed terrorist organization in the UAE, and he's done a full investigation. And if he did a full investigation, I assume he knows who the head of Islamic Relief Canada is, and that is Hani Albana, who's the head of Islamic Relief Worldwide. Also, Programs Director Abdi Halim, I can't pronounce his name, Damani, the Program Director at Islamic Relief Canada, when he was the head of Islamic Relief Tunisia, he was caught funneling money to terrorist groups in Libya. So the Programs Director of Islamic Relief Canada has 2 terrorism allegations being investigated him, and he's currently on the run from Tunisian authorities. Okay, this isn't Islamophobic. Tunisia is a Muslim country. They're investigating this guy for funding terrorism. But he's Programs Director of Islamic Relief Canada, and no one is reporting this. Nobody but me and Tom Quiggin and a few other people. And if you share this video, then you. So for just blatantly lying and then not reporting and then boring me to death with coronavirus, on the Rosemary Barden scale of bias, the CBC gets a 10 out of 10. And I'll see you tomorrow. Unless, Waleed and Aaron try and throw a hit on me. In which case, I'll see you in hell.